These people hate your hustle. They hate your hustle, your ambition, your drive. They don't like the fact that you focus on prosperity and abundance. You see, these people, they hate your hustle because they're lazy. See, when people get frustrated, jealous, and envious of people who focus on making money, focus on bettering themselves financially, because that is one of the topics that's not really spoken about too much when it comes to jealousy and envy. And I strongly believe that is a deep root of jealousy and envy amongst people, especially amongst women. When you focus on prosperity, abundance, those things that are going to bring you a softer life, a better life, some people get very triggered and they expect for you to shortchange yourself. Women are good for this when they are jealous and envious of other women. If you are a woman that is in business, or you have any skills, gifts, talents, anything that you might know and or use to make money, I'm pretty certain you have come across women who are jealous and envious of the things that you do, and they expect for you to shortchange yourself. What do I mean by that? Women who are jealous and envious of your hustle, of your drive, of your ambition, they want you to do everything for free. They do not expect for you to get paid, for you to get recognition, nor do they want you to, because that highlights their insecurity. When you are around women who want you to constantly shortchange yourself, you will miss out on valuable opportunities because you're allowing people with the crabs in a barrel poverty mindset to stop you from prospering. There's nothing worse than being a woman who has ambition, has drive, who has that desire to make money and be financially stable, and you're dealing with a bunch of broke people. I just have to say it that way. You're dealing with a bunch of broke people, be it really broke or broke mindset, that won't let you prosper. And this is deep, so let me sip some of my coffee. I have dealt with this for much of my adult life, and not until recently did I really start seeing the fruit of my labor, start seeing the things that I wanted to do come to fruition, until I got around the right type of people who didn't see making money as somehow being cocky, arrogant, conceited, or what have you. You see, when people are jealous and envious of your hustle, of your ambition, of your desire to make money and to use your gifts and skills and talent and actually get paid for it, these people try to gaslight you into believing that you should do everything for free. They try to convince you that you should just give it to the people. You should just do this, just do that. People oftentimes, and I use this term lightly because I am not about class. I don't put down people according to what you have. But what I don't like is people who see others striving to have better financial health, better physical health, mental health, what have you, and they're always trying to block what you're doing. When somebody is jealous and envious of the fact that you want to make money, that you have a skill set or a gift that you can actually monetize and have a good life for yourself, they will try to deliberately step in the way to convince you that it is wrong to charge for your skills. Women are masters at doing this. How many times, if you're a woman who knows how to do hair, instead of them charging or wanting to pay you, they say, I'm your cousin, I'm your auntie, I'm your friend. What's the price for friends? They're always trying to discount whatever it is that you offer because they don't see your worth. And if you're not careful as a woman who is trying to prosper financially, when you are trying to be abundant in that way, you will let people with the broke mindset keep you stuck because they don't understand abundance and prosperity when it comes to finances. They don't understand what it means to actually take time and energy and often money to learn a certain skill. You know, even if you went to school and you got your degree in something and now you want to use that to make money for yourself, be it at somebody else's business or your own. When somebody is jealous and envious of you, they will try to convince you to take a lesser option opposed to the thing that will be best for you. So let's say, for example, you're a woman that went to school for business. Maybe you went to school, you was able to major in management, and you want to actually be the CEO of a company, or you want to run or own your own business. People who are jealous and envious of your hustle, of your drive, of the fact that they see you have the opportunity to make big money, they will try to convince you that, well, do you really want all the stress or the pressure that comes with that? Maybe, you know what, I can see you sitting behind a desk. I can see you being a receptionist. I can see this. I can see that. Haters can see more of your future than you can because they're hoping that you're not going for the great option. They hope you shortchange yourself so that you're not making that much money. There's nothing better for a hater than to see you shortchanging yourself and not living up to your full potential, especially when it comes to the area of money, when it comes to the area of wealth and resources. Jealous, envious people, and I hate to say this, many people who are jealous, envious haters who actively come against other people, when it comes to the idea of you hustling, your ambition, your drive, you striving for more when it comes to money, they can't stand it. And you'll have some people who try to use spiritual manipulation to convince you that you're not humble simply because you want to make more money or because you have a skill set that's going to make you more money. You see, people who have been taught that having more money, having more resources, that finances is somehow a negative thing, when they see you striving, they're going to look at you as if you're selling out. And that's one thing you have to get accustomed to from jealous, envious people or people who tend to turn against you when they envy your drive, your ambition, or your hustle. And when I say hustle, I don't mean in the stressful running around, exhausting yourself way. I mean as a woman who is focused on leveling up financially, leveling up her wealth. You want to be able to take care of yourself or obtain a certain lifestyle. People will envy the fact that you have made prosperity, financial, resources and wealth your focus. And people who look at it that way, they only do that because, number one, they've allowed other people to convince them that getting more money is somehow prideful and arrogant and they don't need to focus on it, or that somehow a woman trying to make use of the skills and the gifts that she has and actually monetizing it is somehow a horrible thing. And I was almost convinced of that because many people, they have limited thinking. Some people believe in order for you to be considered spiritual or kind or nice or what have you, you have to be living at the bottom of the barrel. You have to be the kind of person that is not concerned with money or resources. Some people, because they're jealous, envious, and hate on other people who have drive, who have ambition, who are actually trying to do something with their life financially, those are your people who will look down on you simply because you have it and they don't. And it's not that they couldn't get it, but they're so consumed with how their life is going to look to people who aren't even helping them that they miss out on opportunities and become a hater on the women who are actually striving for financial freedom or to better their finances in some way. So these people, they expect for you to shortchange yourself. They want everything for free. And this is another thing that women are good for. And this is why I kind of say watch when you are making moves, when you are working on goals and things like that. You should keep those things private. I have had people tell me, because I've told you all I have a jewelry shop, and they try to convince me that nobody's going to purchase this for that price. You need to lower your prices. See, when somebody is jealous and envious of what you're doing, they're not going to encourage you to go higher. They're always going to encourage you to go lower. They will have you selling your stuff for a penny if it means you barely make it. As I've said before, people like to see you eat, not just as good as them. And when it comes to finances and money, when you have jealous, envious people around you, they don't want you to know your worth. And when I say your worth in this regard, I mean your worth based on what you should be getting paid for whatever it is you're offering. And even if you're not a business owner, if you're not in that world, but you're just a woman who kind of does things on the side and you're in the habit of always giving things away for free because people have convinced you that in order to show yourself as more godly or more spiritual or just nice, that everything should be free. That is a form of spiritual manipulation in general. And that is often the reason why women stay stuck longer than they need to be, because they allow jealous, envious people to get into their head and convince them that being broke, that struggling, that poverty is somehow a virtue. And I understand that the poor you will have with you always. I know that. But that is not something you strive to be. And that's where the hater, the jealous, envious person, they want you to think that way. And at any sign that you are leveling up financially, that's when they swoop in with trying to make you feel guilty. That's why when you see a lot of black people, and I'm going to go there, when you see some black people leave the hood, all of a sudden those with the crabs in a barrel mentality, they're saying they sold out simply because they did better for themselves financially. So when it comes to this jealousy and envy, when it comes to your finances, people not respecting your ambition or your hustle, and you don't have to be rich for people to hate on you financially. When people are jealous and envious of the money, of the finances, of the wealth, of the resources, you don't have to be a millionaire or making boatloads of money. You could be just doing a little bit better than you were the other day. And you'll have a jealous, envious person trying to convince you, oh, you're working too hard. Why are you working so much? And I am not the kind of woman that strives or encourage you to stress yourself out. But when you're doing something that is making your life better, especially when it comes to finances, resources, wealth, and it doesn't feel like work to you, a jealous, envious person will try to convince you that somehow you're unbalanced. You're always working. You're always doing this. You're always doing that. It's because they want you slow down enough to fall behind. See, these people, they envy your hustle, your ambition, your drive, simply because it's not them. Some people live in a place of limitation, a place of lack, a place of fear, because they've been programmed to do so. And when you are the kind of woman that realizes that other people's opinions and thoughts of you is not going to put food in your mouth, is not going to pay your bills, is not going to allow you the opportunity to live a comfortable life, you will stop shortchanging yourself and realize that a lot of people who offer you this so-called constructive criticism, most of the time it's nothing more than projection. See, when people envy your hustle, your drive, your ambition, when they don't like the fact that you're making money, maybe making a lot of it, you're focused on prosperity and abundance, you're focused on having the kind of lifestyle that would allow you to rest, that's when jealous, envious people swoop in trying to convince you that somehow you worship money. Somehow you're serving two masters. Christians, you know what I'm talking about. Somehow you are, honoring money. It's not that. You just want to eat, and you want to eat well, and you want to have options, and you want to have choices, and you want to be able to do the things you want to do without hesitation. And people who are jealous and envious of people who have an abundance mindset, who don't have a poverty mindset, who understand that money is not inherently evil, the worshiping of it could be, but when they don't understand that, they're going to have an issue with you. I saw a video the other day of a young woman who said that in her family, it doesn't really appear that you can get any support unless you're a bum. And her words were kind of harsh, but I understand exactly what she means. In some families, when a person is prospering financially, when they are well off financially, people are more hesitant to help you or support you because they look at you as somebody who is established and somehow you think you're better than them, all because you're doing well for yourself financially. And once again, I need you to understand, this doesn't mean that you're a millionaire. This doesn't mean that you live in an affluent neighborhood. For some people and some families and social circles, you having a standard 9-to-5 job is a step up from the street life that some people are accustomed to. It doesn't take much for people to be jealous and envious of you when it comes to the idea of money, finances, wealth, and what have you. If they're about the street life, and you have a regular 9 to 5 job and you're maintaining that and you have consistency, you may see someone become jealous and envious of the fact that you're able to maintain a 9 to 5 job when they couldn't. And they try to convince you to call out of work and you still serving the man and all these different things. You're still in the system. This is a lot of talk that you'll get from jealous, envious people when they see you doing well financially. I want to backtrack to that people trying to get you to shortchange yourself. Women, and I hate to say this, but I have dealt with that a lot from women because I'm in this YouTube space, in the coaching space. I write books, I make jewelry, and many other things I have in the works. I have had people, not until I stopped talking, because privacy is key to leveling up, in my opinion. But when I used to tell people about the things that I would be doing and, what I plan to offer and all of that, people who got jealous of the fact that I was financially on my way, they would try to convince me that somehow my prices are too high and nobody will buy that. Or what you're doing, nobody really cares about. See, people who start to get threatened by your financial level up, by your come up, even before it happens, you can be on your way to financial prosperity and people will begin to mistreat you and project their own thoughts and opinions, their lack mindset onto you simply because they see you're on your way to prosperity and abundance when it comes to money, when it comes to finances. And one thing that you will often hear haters, jealous, envious people who envy your ambition, your hustle, and your drive, you'll often hear them say things like, money is not everything. And while that is true, I believe that money is not everything. However, you need it to live. You need it as a resource. You cannot pay your bills on scripture. You can't just offer your electric company a scripture and they'll accept it. That's not how the world works. But people who have a lack mindset, they don't really understand ambition, drive, and hustle. So the moment they see an ounce of progress in you, they're going to start acting funny towards you and start projecting. It just comes along with the territory of trying to do better for yourself. So that's why I say, whatever it is you're working on, keep those things private until it's done. And then you can let people know what you're doing or they'll see what you're doing. But people who are jealous and envious, they don't want you to make any money off of the things that you do. They want you to give everything away free so that way you can stay on the same level as them. I just had to say it. They see the levels. And while you understand that, okay, money is money, it's a resource, it's going to help me, it doesn't make me any better than anyone. But to a hater or a jealous, envious person, the moment they start seeing you hustling and your drive and you have ambition to do better financially, they're going to start projecting big time. Family, friends, people who are used to you being down. The moment they see you coming up a little bit higher financially, the jokes, the little sayings, all this stuff reminding you of who you are, that's what haters and jealous people do when they get frustrated and envy your hustle and your drive when it comes to money. So these people, they envy your hustle, they envy your drive, and when it comes to money and resources, jealousy and envy, it can really start to show through the better you do financially. Once again, you don't have to be a millionaire, you don't have to be making boatloads of money, but a step up from where a hater is financially, you can expect a whole lot of projection, and that's why I distance myself. When you're trying to level up financially and do better, you don't need to be around people who are constantly trying to hold you back and tell you that money isn't important and that you're working too hard and that you're doing this and doing that. That's what you should be doing when you are in the building phase of your journey to building up your money and finances. Like, how else is it going to happen, Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.